Hi guys, welcome to the Let's Play of, and yes I know there are going to be questions about this, Ogre Battle, March of the Black Queen, yay! Alright, I know in my couple recent most LPs I've stated that I've been kind of burnt out on the strategy RPGs, so I wanted to do something different for my next one while I was doing Faces of Evil. But that kind of changed the other day when I got into a bit of an argument with Lantis over whether or not March of the Black Queen was a good game. It's a fucking great game, you asshole. Anyways, so I've decided to do March of the Black Queen while I'm doing Faces of Evil, just to kind of, one, play it because it's fucking amazing, and two, showcase how awesome it really can be. I'm gonna let it go through all the whole intro thing so you can, you know, read the storyline and blah 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 blah. But at the same time, I guess I'll give you all a heads up about what I plan on doing. First of all, I hope the sound isn't too loud. I definitely wanted to catch the audio for this game, because I think it's fantastic. I've always loved it. On the subject of audio, however, to make the battles not take a really long time, I will probably be abusing the turbo button. So there is the possibility that it will get a little annoying. If it does, please let me know, and I'll like tweak the volume so that it's not that bad. Or I'll, you know, turn off animations and stop using the turbo button so much. That being said, to anyone who's played the game through or knows enough about the game to know what I'm talking about, I intend on playing it realistically, i.e. not, I'm not just gonna like boss rush and then, you know, do the liberation for the good reputation and all that shit and everything like that. I'm actually gonna go through each fight as basically without cheaping the game, and I know there are a lot of players out there that will argue that that's cheaping the game or not, but for me, I feel like it kind of, you know, cheapens the whole keeping your alignment up and everything like that, and so on and so forth. So I'm just gonna play through it steadily, sending out units and all that jazz and everything. And I guess that's pretty much it. I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Again, I plan to keep these videos a little shorter. They're probably going to be closer to an hour, considering the length of some of the battles. But hopefully they won't be too long. I want to keep them in between the 30 minutes to an hour range. Preferably closer to the 30 minutes range, which is probably while I'll be abusing the turbo button a bit. Alright, what am I going to name myself? Oh, well, as a heads up, once I do complete the LP for this, I do plan on doing a run of the Fire Seal / you know, Dragon's Haven, just to show people what that is. But just to let y'all know ahead of time, to anyone who doesn't, if you enter the name Fire, I can't enter the entire, well, I guess I can just cancel out. If you enter the name Fire Seal as the name of your leader, you know, and you confirm, which I'm not going to, then it starts you out with around level 15 to 20-ish armies. And there's only one place to go on the map, and that's the Dragon's Haven, and it's the secret ending, basically. Well, it's not really a secret ending. Well, I guess it's a secret ending. It's like a little piece of backstory. The Fire Seal and the hero actually ends up being named Lexor, or Lexar, or whatever. But that's a piece of the history of I guess I'm being stupid. I can just back. Anyways, sorry, being retarded. I am going to cop out and name the main character freaking Destin, which is, you know, Destin the Valiant or whatever the hell his name is. Destin is kind of the default name, I suppose. Which I honestly didn't know anything about that until I, you know, grew up and played, you know, Person of Lordly Caliber on the 64, and then realized, oh shit, Destin's the same character from, you know, March of the Black Queen. Oh my god, it's fantastic. And I'm gonna be male, just cause I have no real particular reason. Alright, to those of you who don't know, the game starts out by having you draw these cards, and what the cards do is when you answer the questions to the cards, you get points to 4 different attack sets, basically. And whichever attack set you get the most points in is the type of attack slash the alignment that your hero, your main character, will be. And of course, you know, there's a lighter side, a semi-light side, a semi-dark side, and then a dark side. And each one has different attacks, different strengths and weaknesses, and everything like that. And each one starts with a different starting army. So there's a lot of variety to the beginning of the game. I personally, most people agree that the semi-light side is the strongest one. I personally am gonna go for the highest alignment side, the Ice Cloud. I just call him Ice. I call him by whatever their back row attack is. I'm going for the Ice Cloud one because personally I don't use my Lord that much, and I like it when he starts off with a high charisma slash high alignment, because I like not having to put in the work to get him up there, you know? Plus, when you go that route, you generally start out with more high alignment characters, and I always believe, you know, it's easier to go down in alignment than it is to go up in alignment. So I prefer to start out towards the higher areas rather than going, you know, from bottom up, so to speak. Strength. The ranged one is Justice. Sorry. Lovers. Purity. By the way, these are not the answers I would actually answer. I'm going for something specific here, damn it. I always used to do that as a kid, you know. I always used to answer what I would actually answer, or like I'd come up with a persona and I'd answer with the persona. Like if I felt like playing someone evil, I'd just be like, I would make up this little evil identity and I would answer, you know, how that person would answer. And I always thought that was fun. I always enjoyed games that did things like this. And choose one from the deck. I always choose the third card. If it's Fortune, okay, it's Hierophant. I was about to say. Okay. And lead us all to victory. Hell yeah, let's do this. Okay, so, well, shit, I'll back out real fast. This is the world map, so to speak. This is, honestly, the game progresses from battle to battle. That's all it is. All the storyline, everything like that happens in the battles, okay? Outside of battles, you have the ability to, you know, save, obviously. Go into your options and, you know, change everything, and you can go to the edit unit screen, which is where all the fucking magic happens. You have the ability to view the status of any character or any unit in the game. which I've started out with 3 fighters and a freaking cleric, which isn't the greatest start, but, you know, whatever, I can use that cleric for something. Remove characters from a squad or team or whatever. When you get more people, which we'll do after this fight, you can add characters to a squad or a team, or if you pick someone in your free area, you can start a brand new squad with them. You can switch up the formation, erase a character, upgrade the class of a character, or change, rather. Which, actually, we are going to switch this bitch over to an Amazon real fast. Yes! Because I really don't need a cleric right now. You can change the leader of a party, or you can mess around with all the items that you have. Okay. So, anyways, let's go ahead and jump into our first fight, which is the Castle of Warren. Now, just as a heads up, I am going to kind of be min-maxing my units. I'm going for the best ending of the game. So I would really prefer for this to be easy, you know. Yay! Little tutorial. You play by selecting... Okay. You play the game by selecting your units and moving wherever the little map is. And, you know, there's different movement types and everything like that, which I'll get into more later on. But, yeah, so they head on their routes to, you know, go wherever you told them. And there's a pause function, which I will be abusing the ever-loving hell out of. And if you ever play this game, have ever played this game, you know, or you should do this. Abuse the hell out of the pause function. That's why it's there. Like, if you're making decisions on the fly on where to, you know, send your people in the middle of a fight, use the pause feature. Seriously. Alright, so anyways, I won't be min-maxing, like, I won't be doing the absolute most stuff you possibly can, but I will be trying to get stronger characters. I won't just be using shitty-ass things that you pick up. Liberation! Alright, so every time you go to a city that's red, you liberate the city, and when you do, you have a chance to, or you have an option of pulling a card. I am almost always going to pull cards, because most of the time there's not really a reason not to. Lucky! Yay! Your reputation goes up 2 points. Now, most of the cards in the game, there's like 22 cards in the game, most of the cards will give you stat ups, okay? There are a few cards that will give you stat downs, yes, and a few other cards that do random other things. You also get information every time you visit a town. You know, you'll talk to someone. Going to different places with different people, you can find secrets and so on and so forth. And you also receive a tribute every day from the cities that you've liberated, which ends up being a really big deal. No, thank you. Okay, may the gods go with me. Yay! Okay, so here's the other thing about this game. Going around and about, you know, you have the, oh, there's a little town, and oh, here it looks like a little something else. It's a temple. We'll go visit it in a second. And then, you know, you have the boss's castle, and, you know, your headquarters and everything like that. There's a lot of other area. That's because there's a lot of freaking secret things in this game. There's hidden buried treasures, there's hidden towns, hidden temples, so on and so forth. And this is gonna take a bit, so I'm just gonna freaking turbo through that. Yay! We found a walled city! Awesome! Found out. Apparently I didn't move quite enough, or maybe I canceled. I wasn't really paying attention. Anyways. Okay, so, yay! Liberation! Yay! Cheers! Happiness! Yes, pull a card. Strength. Awesome. Strength is amazing. Mostly because it increases the, strength of all the freaking unit, or all the characters, which is amazing. The card itself isn't very good, but, whatever. Yay, Lans. Only to see the wasteful death. Yeah. Lans is, one of, I want to say there's like, I don't know, 14, 15, maybe 18, maybe 13, I don't know. I don't have a good estimate on the number of special characters in the game, but Lans is one of the special characters of the game. And he's actually he's awesome in the beginning of the game, but stat-wise, towards the end of the game, he's actually one of the worst. That's not to say we won't be using him, because he still is a special character, so he's still stronger than the normal, characters are. So we're still definitely gonna fucking use him. It's just a little disappointing how, damn, you take forever to cross that water. Come on, bro. It's just a little disappointing how weak he actually is. So, yeah. Liberation. Alright, yes, I want Magician. Hell yeah. Yes, I wish to keep this card. Found an item. Yeah, power. Is that a power? Is that a whip or a ring? I think it's a whip. Everything is progressing in real time. Press the start button. Abuse the pause function. Hell yeah. Now don't repeat that. May the gods go with you. Yay. Okay, so we're gonna head right over here. Okay, so here's one of the things. This game is one of the really big things about this game is the alignment of your characters. Alignment's very important. It affects the class changes. You have to have certain alignments to go to certain classes, and blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. Liberating with higher alignment and charisma gets you more reputation. With doing it with a lower alignment or charisma actually decreases your reputation, and you have to have a high reputation to get the best endings. Alignment affects everything in this game, and one of the things it affects is the damage you actually do in battle, depending on the time of day. Now, certain classes are generally higher or lower alignment classes. So at nighttime, the lower alignments will deal more damage and take less damage, and it's the same exact opposite for the lighter alignments, and it's the exact opposite in daytime. Warren is a wizard, and wizards are actually lower alignment characters, and my starting party is actually a higher alignment. So theoretically, for maximum shit, I would have fought him in the middle of the day to do the most damage and take the least damage, but he's all a fucking lone. He's gonna die. And he's not gonna do much of anything to me. Okay, anyways, in a fight, sorry, I meant to do this. In a fight, what happens is you don't get to control the attacks of your characters. All units have attacks that they'll either do in the front row or the back row, and they just do them automatically. Okay, they go in a certain order. Faster characters go first, but everyone will get their first attack before anyone gets their second attack, enemies and allies. Okay, so all the fastest characters will go first, and then the slowest, and then after the slowest has taken his first turn, then the fastest will go again, so on and so forth. But battles end when everyone's out of attacks, because you only have so many attacks. So it doesn't continue until one or the other side is dead necessarily. And I'll tell a little bit more about that, because he's definitely going to die, so we don't have to worry about that. But while you're in battle, the only actions you can actually take are you can use tarot cards, which all have different effects, which, you know, I'll explain as the game goes on. You can change your tactics, which, again, I'll explain as I start to change them. For right now, it doesn't matter, because there's only one target. You can retreat from the fight, which we're definitely not going to click, and you can turn the animation on or off, which we're just going to leave it on for right now. Okay. Yeah, whoop his ass. And Ice Cloud. You're fucked. Oh, it missed. Wow. That's okay. That's kind of to be expected. Alrighty. We are the winners. You've done well, and all now know your power. Woohoo! Hell yeah, we will, Warren. Warren is actually, I want to say, like the second best mage in the game. Second only to, I want to say, is Saradin. So yeah, love having Warren. It's freaking fantastic. You've completed this map. Okay, at the end of every map, you get bonus money, depending on how long it took you, and other factors, I believe. I don't really remember, but yeah. This is old save file, we're just going to save over it. Okay, so, after that, you can go back to any place you completed, okay, which we're actually going to do real fast, because I'll pick up stuff while I'm in a fight, but sometimes it's just easier to do it afterwards. But there are actually 2 hidden items in this map. Ooh, Ogre Shield. Very nice. And while you can get into random encounters with neutral enemies when you revisit a map, you'll never have to, you never have to do battles again, so there's no, grinding that way or anything like that. You can grind on neutrals, you know, but it's kind of whatever. Fire. That's definitely a whip. That looks like a whip, right? Alright, so return to map. Yes, I'm absolutely sure. Thank you very much. Okay. So, after that first fight, you know, we've recruited lands, obviously. Okay. But what we've also done, and here's Lanz's unit, what we've also done is we got Warren, and we got Warren's army, okay? And a bunch of, you know, extra characters. And this army that you obtained from Warren is based off of the answers that you picked from the tarot cards, which attack set you got, okay? And just looking around, got a good amount of clerics, which I expected. Not as many knights as I hoped to get, but honestly, you get more knights in the freaking Inuki set, which is the second highest, than you do in this. So that's okay. I only have one other wizard, and that does kind of suck, but that should be fine. Basically, though, most of the arrangements that you start out with are pretty freaking shitty. Not gonna lie, okay? So, what we're actually gonna do real fast is I'll probably spend the rest of this video showing you guys the ins and outs of the edit screen. And I'll be setting up my parties for, at least for the near future. Honestly, the game is a lot about customizing your parties And I'll do that, like, not necessarily between every fight, but I'll definitely do that every couple fights, switch my parties up, just to, you know, make sure everyone's being effective and so on and so forth. The easiest thing to do at the beginning of the game is to just disband. If you remove the party leader, it disbands the entire party, and that's just the easiest way to handle everything at the beginning, because honestly, most of the setups suck. It's not really that most of the setups suck, it's just that I guess, you know, you get used to doing it a different way after a while, I suppose. Okay, there we go. Alright, so now we have this huge, and actually, do I want to, what alignment do we have on all these guys? 50, 61, yeah, that went down a little bit. No, it didn't. No, that's fine. That's fine. So now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of make a few parties, okay? Now, one of the parties we definitely want to start with is a Warren party, because Warren is amazing, alright? But have to be really careful about Warren. You don't want to overuse him at the beginning. Wizards are they're really awesome. They are the best damage dealers at the beginning of the game. But that kind of becomes a problem because the more you kill, obviously the more experience you get, and if you're a higher level than what you're killing, your alignment starts to drop, which is alright for certain classes, including wizards, because they do need a kind of low alignment to go up to their next class. But if it gets too low, it can be really hard to get them back up. So you have to be careful about how much you let them kill. How exactly do I think? But I definitely am going to do this for at least the next level. I'm gonna make a 3 wizard party, and we're gonna use the highest 2 fighters to be our little meat shields. Okay, yeah, looks good. Alright, what else do we want to do? Something else that we want to do is we're going to change the class of a couple of these bitches real fast. Clerics, healers are amazing in this game, but one of the things you have to know about this game is if you don't defeat a unit in battle, it goes to whoever won, and whoever won is chosen by whoever dealt the most damage, okay? Now, that's all well and good, that's great. Whoever wins stays where they are and continues on their path. Whoever loses gets tossed backwards, okay? So if you were defending a town or city and you lose, you get tossed off that town or city, okay? And that's a real pain in the ass. Now, healers are amazing for a number of reasons. One, they can use their healing to insta-kill undead, or very nearly insta-kill undead. Some of the stronger ones, I think it doesn't insta-kill. But anyways, that's great. But and they're great for keeping your units alive, especially when you're out in the field. Well, when you're on a city, you get healed, you know, every second for how, I don't know how much or whatever, but you get healed while you're defending a city. So healers are great for staying topped off and everything like that, and they're fantastic at the end of the game. But healing damage doesn't actually, like, if you took damage and you healed it, that doesn't actually matter on whether or not you won, okay? So that can be a really big pain in the ass. Alright, that's good. I probably shouldn't have changed those back to Amazons, because I do anyways, whatever. It doesn't matter. Alright, we're gonna have a Muse party, or a friggin' Valkyrie party. is her alignment? Her alignment is very high. Who is the highest alignment person we have right now? Okay. Samurai and Lons, of course. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll use these. I generally like the 2-3 formation. Your back row just more often than not does more damage than your front row does. So I like to use my front row, only 2 characters in my front row rather than 3 most of the time. Now I will switch that up from time to time, of course, but for the most part that's how I like to stick. What now? I definitely would like... Okay, Lons is probably going to be... Yeah. Okay, Lons is going to be my starting liberation unit, or one of my starting liberation units. So we're going to have him over in the corner, because we want him up front, because there's no reason to have him in the back row, and I don't want to use my second knight with him. And plus I don't want to overuse Amazons, because while they're awesome when upgraded, you know, they can also be kind of meh, I suppose. Alright. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Add a character to that unit. We need 2 Amazons with him. Yep. Okay, and that should be good. Now, what else do we want? Alright. Let's check out... Okay, 45 alignment on that Beastman. That makes me sad. 45 and 45 on the Griffins. So they're starting off pretty low. That kind of sucks. Lantis is obviously going to be low. Okay, we're going to have... we're going to have Saizo be another leader. Because he's got pretty good alignment. And we're going to use Parker with him. And we're going to do another 3 formation. Because I do want some more freaking whatchamacallits up. Alright. As you might be able to tell already, I'm not a huge fan of most of the Beast characters. I don't really intend on using any of the Beast characters except for maybe a couple Griffins or Worms for some high-flying units. I might use a Dragon or 2. Just honestly, for the most part, they're not as good. They just aren't. They have some good uses in certain situations, but normally their cons outweigh their pros, and they're just not worth it for the most part. Okay, I'm going to use these Beastmen, and hopefully I'll be able to... I think I'm going to try and take them the route of the ninja. So we'll have Lantis be a leader. We might have to alter this slightly. Yeah, I think we're gonna alter this slightly. We're definitely gonna do this. This will be one of our more effective units at the beginning, because Beastmen actually are pretty good at the beginning. They have a decent stat growth, or a decent strength growth, anyways. So we'll do it like that. Okay, yes. We're gonna have to actually remove a character real fast. I'm gonna remove Parker from this, and we'll add in another character. I know a lot of people like to be symmetrical with their parties, Like they would, oh no, that bothers them that the samurai is, you know, not in the middle and two fighters on either side. And honestly, like I kind of have that mentality too, but it's just not solid strategically, because if you run into something that's going for weak or fuck, I hit cancel, my bad. Or on the leader setting, which I'll explain all of that here in a second, or in the next video when I get to the, because I think I'm only gonna do this as one video. I'll get to the next fight in the next video because I don't want to be getting too long, you know. If you have your leader directly in the center, it you know, risks them getting fucked up, which is just never fun. Okay, so what else am I gonna do? I'm gonna Sizo's high, Lantis high, and Parker's pretty high too. So we're gonna have another unit. Do Parker. We'll do. I'm just gonna register this real fast and I need to do a count. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 soldiers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then it'll be 8, 9. Okay, so yeah, no, that's fine. I generally like to use more males than I do the females, not because of anything in particular, just because I really like paladins, I really like mages, and muses and healers are amazing, but generally speaking, they don't do as much damage. Well, obviously the healers don't do much damage, but the muses generally don't do as much damage as the mages do, and late game you need fucking tanks, which the paladins are pretty much the top at. So, yeah. I generally end up using more male characters than I do female characters. Alright, we have 7 units. What else do we have? Not a whole lot of. I'm not worried about using a high fly. There are people out there that swear by high flying units, and honestly, especially later on in the game, they're fucking invaluable for shit. But right now, I mean, they're just kind of like whatever at the beginning of the game, especially when you're using the turbo button. It's not really that big of a ordeal. It doesn't really matter that much, you know? Alright, so we have Destin unit, our Lance unit, our Sizo, and our Parker unit, which are all high alignments, okay? We're probably going to be using them as our liberators. One or the other, you know, a couple of them will start to get towards the top of the pack on alignment, and we'll stick with those as our liberators as the game continues. These, well, not really Sandora. Sandora's kind of just there. We didn't really start with many Valkyries, which kind of sucks, but, you know, that'll be okay. Obviously, Warren is going to be a powerhouse at the beginning of the game, and Lantis will do pretty well for himself. The beginning of the game's not too bad. Everything pretty much matches your level, so it's kind of hard to go down in levels unless you're just constantly killing things and so on and so forth. So it should be fine. We do have a couple items, actually, so let's check them out. When you're in the item screen, you can use an item, or you can equip an item, sell items, dispose them, you can order it, or you can clean up, which basically just removes spaces that you have in your item lists. So when you're in the item screen, you can press select on an item, and it'll show you what they actually do, which Ring of Power is plus 18 strength, holy shit. It's also minus 7 int, which kind of sucks. Ogre Shield, plus 18 on your physical, and plus 28 on your black. That's pretty damn good, especially on someone who has a low black resistance. like princess or someone like that, though probably by the time I get a princess we'll have better items, so it doesn't really matter. Fire staff is int +3, which is pretty actually alright, you know. We're going to strap that. Actually, Warren does not need the extra help. We're going to put this on Lantis to make sure he's as effective as he can be. Yeah, equipped. Okay. And power. I think, real fast, with that -7 int, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you guys a little bit about the stats. Okay, obviously on your stat page you have your level, your HP, which are self-explanatory, your strength, which for strength related attacks is how much damage you do. It's also your defense against strength related attacks. So for say like a paladin on the front row, or a knight on the front row, an evil one on the front row, anything like that, when they smack someone with their swords or axes or whatever, the damage they're dealing is based off of their strength. But when they get smacked by a sword or something like that, the damage they take is also based off of their strength, okay? Agi is a correlation to physical attacks. It helps you hit your physical attacks, and it also helps you dodge physical attacks, okay? Int, the higher your int, the more damage you do with magical attacks, the less damage you take from magical attacks, and it's also its own thing. Like it's its own agi. So the higher your int and the lower your enemy's int, the higher chance you're going to hit them with the spell. Charisma is it's important for unit upgrades, and it's also the higher charisma you have in alignment or in conjunction with your alignment helps you when liberating towns. And charisma is also important for your leaders. A higher charisma helps out bonuses slash penalties that, you know, your units can get from their leaders. Their alignment, I've already kind of explained a little bit about. Luck, which kind of sucks that I started with 47 luck. That's kind of horrible. But luck is, well, it's luck, you know. It's chances to dodge attacks, chances to hit attacks, chances to do more damage on attacks. It's also a chance to find items at the end of a fight, or to find items when liberating a town, which, you know, can be really freaking helpful. Now, everything will go up, or when you level up, your strength, agi, and int will go up based on your class and so on and so forth. Your charisma only goes up when defeating a unit, when killing off things in a unit, okay? And I'll explain more about that later. Your alignment only goes up with pretty much the same thing, or with tarot cards that you draw. Your luck never goes up except with items or tarot cards, okay? Your luck is a static freaking skill. So high luck is a really good thing. Low luck isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's just kind of meh. Alright, so anyways, now that you know the -7 int actually does something, what we're actually going to do is we're going to find, we have Parker, Lon, Sizo. Okay, we're actually going to probably put this on Parker. Let me check, 56 and 58. Yeah, we're going to put this on Parker because he's the weakest of the 3 physicals that we have. Or physical leaders anyways, and we want to make sure he's actually doing good. We don't want him to be useless. Yeah! Okay, bam. And now we have the Ogre shield, which isn't really gonna be that amazingly useful on anyone right now, so we're just gonna we're actually going to put it on... I'm not really worried about Warren's unit, and Landis's unit should be pretty alright. I'm going to put it on one of the fighters in Sandora's unit, just to get them a little up for their physical resistance. So yeah. Alright. And that's that. That's pretty much, you know, what you do. You go into a fight, you slobber or knock the shit out of some people, you know, see some story, liberate some towns, level up, and then, you know, you come into your edit army or edit formation or whatever it is, and you do all this stuff and you continue onwards. Yeah. So I hope you all enjoyed. I bet Lantis is screaming at me right now, but you know what? Go fuck yourself. It's an amazing game, and I will show you all why in the videos to come. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll check you all later.